Hello everyone, my name is Jed. Now would you believe me if I told you that more than 3 out of 5 Americans are feeling lonely in today's society? And especially right now that we're all staying at home, whether you live alone like me or you're stuck at home with family, during this stay-at-home order, more than 4 out of 10 people are feeling even lonelier than ever before. And honestly, right now, it's not surprising that we're feeling loneliness and anxiety, but what about before all then? Before all this happened? Because 3 out of 5 adults, that's a lot of adults. But for real, 61% of people are feeling this way. So how do we resolve this issue? Well, right about now, I want to go ahead and delve into the reasons as for why people feel this way and how we can be okay with being alone. So first of all, if you ever do feel like the loneliness is hurting you and it does feel out of your control, there's always the U.S. Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration. They're focused on the improvement and support of behavioral health. And I'll go ahead and list their number in the description below. Now, there are so many questions that I'm sure many of you have asked yourself in the past, feelings that can potentially consume you. Something like, why is this happening? Why do I feel this way? Why haven't I subscribed to Jed yet and hit the like button? And trust me, I also ask these questions. But seriously, there's a reason as to why you feel this way, because even if you're hanging out with friends, or you're in that amazing relationship with that significant other, or you're living with parents who give you all the attention in the world, even if you had all of that and you still wake up saying to yourself, why do I feel alone? Then doesn't that sound like there's something wrong inside of you? You have all the external needs to not feel this way, but you still do. But in order to truly understand this type of loneliness, we'll have to take a look at exactly what it means to be lonely. Now, according to the book called Loneliness, Human Nature and the Need for Social Connection, written by John Cahill, and William Patrick, it describes that lonely people's feelings are a combination of 3 factors. The first is the level of vulnerability to social disconnection. Each person has a genetically set need for social inclusion or connection, and everyone's need will be different. If your level of need is high, then it will be more difficult for you to reach that satisfactory level. People want to feel included, and that's understandable. The second factor to feeling lonely is the ability to self-regulate the emotions associated with feeling isolated. Pretty much what that means is each person feels stress when their need for social interaction isn't met. If it's constantly unmet, then that loneliness can become almost a constant anger. It also doesn't help that the amount of people living alone nearly doubled in the last 50 years. Now, how well you manage it is what matters. Since I live alone, there are days where I see people and there are some days where I don't. I'd be lying to you if I said that I don't feel lonely sometimes, but I don't let that stress get to me, because being able to accept and cope with that feeling and being able to manage it is a skill that must be learned. And don't worry about me, because I do have friends. Now, the third factor is a mental representation and expectation of, as well as the reasoning about others. Now, when I was researching this, I was like, what does this sentence even mean? But pretty much what it means is someone that feels lonely sees themselves as trying all they can do to build those relationships and have that sense of belonging, but they also believe that no one is responding. It eventually becomes a point where they believe that everyone else is to blame and they have something to do with their feeling of unworthiness. So you might ask,
Jed, why do we even have this feeling of loneliness? It sucks.
Yes, I agree, it does suck. But just as physical pain protects us from physical dangers, the feeling of loneliness actually serves to protect us from the dangers of being isolated. Something inside of us is saying that we are made to be social creatures. And speaking of social creatures, something that actually plays a major part in feelings of loneliness is, yup, you guessed it, social media. And there are many articles stating this fact. A study done in Pennsylvania chose random students and assigned them to two different groups. The first group did social media as usual, and the second group limited their social media time to only 30 minutes a day. The group that barely used social media had better mental health outcomes. They also had both feelings of loneliness and depressive symptoms decline. Now, I'm not saying,
Guys, let's just fall off the grid and become cavemen.
because social media is actually bringing people together in this isolated world. But the reason why we like all the likes and all the loves and all the cares is because it gives us that hit of dopamine, and then that actually creates the addiction, which then can hurt us more than help. We get that high, but then we crave for more until pretty soon our worth is based off how many likes we get. It doesn't compare to having a real interaction with a human being, whether it be through phone call or through video chat or even seeing a person in real life, as long as you're 6 feet apart, of course. And the only likes that I'll ever need is on this video for the YouTube algorithm. Please. So other factors that play a part is associated with physical health symptoms and surface level relationships. When a relationship only shows a portion of who you are, that is not a true relationship. Now that we understand what causes the feeling of being lonely, begs the question of how can we be okay with being alone? Because with each new generation comes a higher percentage of loneliness, from the baby boomers to the Gen Zs. So what can we do? First of all, yes, you may be alone, but you need to cherish every single moment of it. There is a big difference between having solitude and being lonely. You can be alone, have that solitude, refill your own cup and reflect, or you can feel lonely with hundreds of people around you. Also, if there is 100 people around you and you desire that social group that you can truly connect with, what are you doing to work towards that? There's so many ways now that you can connect with others. You can literally talk to someone on the other side of the world. But remember, quantity does not equal quality. Don't make your friendships like an iceberg where they only show 10% of who they are and they only see 10% of you. Dive deeper than that. Learn to trust and be trusted, and get out of your comfort zone. Maybe you've tried to get out of isolation. Maybe you don't know how to break the pattern of feeling this way. Well, that means there's something inside of you that's saying that you're not worthy. You're trying to validate your worth. And maybe you're right. Maybe you're not worthy. But I'm here to tell you that there's something only you can do to help this world. You're worthy, but you'll need to get up and challenge yourself. Break the addiction to isolation. Break the mindset. Release the fear of rejection. And soon, people will see how far you've come. Don't compare yourself with others, because that will affect your self-esteem and confidence. Sometimes we think, oh, I don't have what this person has, so they're more qualified than me. If you keep thinking like that, you are taking away from your own self-worth. You need to learn how to be grateful with what you have in your life and see that you have a lot. The author Neil Pasricha spoke on Improvement Pill to help me write in this book every day, saying these 3 prompts. I am grateful for, I will let go of, I will focus on. Are you grateful that you woke up today? Are you going to let go of that habit that's destroying your life? And what's your main goal? What is your focus? Writing those 3 things every day helped me become mentally tougher to handle everything that gets thrown at me. Lastly, what you need to do is find your purpose. You see, purpose is what gives us drive. It gives us the ability to move forward. Whether you're praying for your dream job or you're trying to go to the gym daily to stay fit, what are you doing to find purpose? The YouTuber Elliot Hulse said this quote that I still say to myself all the time. Become the strongest version of yourself. What are you doing today to help you become that? Are you building yourself up spiritually, mentally, physically? Another question you need to ask yourself that was said by Martin Luther King Jr. is, life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others? You can also ask, who can I help today? How can I be there for someone? There are literally millions of people out there in this world that don't even have the opportunity to find their purpose because they're struggling to find food, they're struggling to find shelter, they're struggling to just survive. You see, loneliness can be fixed if you're helping others, if you're helping them find their purpose. And that will contribute to you finding yours as well. And yes, I get it. I understand. You feel alone. I feel it sometimes too. And these are some ways that can help fix that. And if you ever feel like it's out of your control, remember that there are a lot of people that feel the same way. And the number below can help you if you need someone now. With that being said, you guys, I want to thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. This was more of a serious video, I know, but I hope that you got something out of this, and I'll see you guys next time.